Imagine not reaching your full potential because you based your entire career on your girlfriend's mood swings. Well, that's exactly what Marcus Rashford has been doing. Every dip in performance and every brilliant performance are all dependent on whether Rashford and his girlfriend are on good terms or not. Yeah, you heard me right. And that is perhaps why 78% of United fans want Rashford out now. And no wonder. After 9 years at the club, with no EPL trophy, no UCL, no significant individual awards, no player of the season, and no goal of the season. For reference, ALEJANDRO Garnacho won the EPL goal of the season this year, and it's just his second senior season. Kobbie Maino was the FA Cup player of the tournament, and it's just his first season. Amad Diallo won the FA Cup goal of the year, and he barely even played. Marcus Rashford, on the other hand, the boy who was prophesied, managed to score only 8 goals all season. He couldn't even crack double digits. And he played more games than Rasmus Højlund, who, by the way, scored 5 Champions League goals in the group stage in just 3 games. But I don't think the fans want him out based on one bad season. I mean, yeah, Manchester United fans are not only proud, but they're also impatient. But considering the fact that Marcus Rashford is one of their favorite players, you should know they've cut him some slack, more than they've given anyone since Ferguson retired. Just this January, as United were set to face Newport County in the FA Cup, Ten Hag announced Rashford's absence due to illness. Everyone was ready to accept the story, except for one little thing. Can you believe that just 3 days before that, Rashford was spotted leaving a Belfast nightclub, some 350 miles from the team? Media reports alleged he was drunk, forcing Ten Hag to make up an illness excuse. This incident shows the exact attitude that has led Rashford not to reach his potential at Old Trafford. But this is just one of several incidents in his career. A career that showed a lot of promise at the beginning. And oh, that beginning? One heck of a way to make an entrance. Rashford's current struggles are very much different from his explosive debut season. Back in 2016, he wasn't even supposed to play against Midtjylland. An injury to Anthony Martial thrust 18-year-old Rashford into the starting lineup, and he repaid the faith with 2 goals and a 5-1 victory. But that was just the beginning. 3 days later, the dream continued. Van Gaal started him against Arsenal, and he didn't disappoint. 2 goals and 1 assist in a thrilling 3-2 win. The headlines exploded. They all said the same thing. The new number 10 is here. This instant hero status feels like yesterday. But unfortunately for Rashford, it was 8 years ago. And in those 8 years, Rashford has barely ever done anything as significant as those early times. Sure, we can mention the impressive comeback against PSG in the Champions League, but did Manchester United win the UCL that year? And who can forget the Europa final of 2020? Rashford was subbed out after a yellow card, and United lost 2-1. And yet, the fans kept faith in him. But Rashford did not stop having bad seasons. So, at first, a rumor started, and no one wanted to believe it. But then it kept happening, and more information started coming out about his personal life. People realized that it was no mere coincidence. His girlfriend had a role to play in his declining form. How, you ask? Well, Marcus Rashford's performance on the field appears to be likened to his relationship status with Lucia Loy. During the 2019-20 and 2020-21 seasons, they were in a committed relationship. Rashford excelled, achieving over 30 goals and assists. However, following their separation in 2021, his performance significantly declined. This coincided with losing their Europa League final, missing a crucial penalty at the Euros final, and managing only 7 goals and assists in the 2021-22 season, only 4 Premier League goals. A possible rekindling in 2022 seemed to positively affect Rashford's performance again, with a significant increase to 30 goals and 11 assists at the end of the 2022-23 season. Additionally, Manchester United ended their trophy drought during this period, However, their renewed relationship reportedly ended in 2023, and Rashford's performance suffered, including a goal drought and a red card in the Champions League. Interestingly, the Moment reports suggest they reconnected again in the 2023 through 24 season, and Rashford scored against Everton. However, this goal came late in the season, and his performance remained inconsistent, with a significant gap between goals. And just so you know, his girlfriend is just the first on a long list of Rashford's problems. What about the car-wrecking tantrum? It all started after 2 back-to-back 3-1 losses to Arsenal and Brighton, and then United managed to beat Burnley 1-0. Following that win against Burnley, Rashford left Carrington training grounds in his Rolls-Royce. Details surrounding the cause of the accident remain unclear, but reports indicate a collision with another vehicle. Was he celebrating too much? Or was he sulking about not scoring again? Nobody knows, but we all know he crashed his customized Rolls-Royce, one of several luxury cars he owns. Oh, you didn't know he has an expensive car collection? Well, that's one of the things he spends his ridiculous wages on. This guy's on $350 a week. $350 per week, and he barely hit double-digit goals and assists. Players have been hounded out of MUFC for less. Remember David De Gea, the club legend they let go with no farewell at all? He's done even more for United than Rashford ever has. Yet, Rashford gets a $350 a week contract, while the club couldn't even be bothered to tell De Gea they weren't signing a new contract with him. Thankfully, both Rashford and the other driver, a 70-something-year-old man by the way, escaped the incident unharmed. However, the force of the impact caused significant damage to Rashford's car. How bad? Well, he had to sell it for a pitiful amount to a YouTuber. When the guy showed the damage, it was a whole mess. But that was still not as bad as the season he just had. At least the Rolls could be salvaged. Rashford's season has been a major disappointment. But there's one place where he's managed to shine consistently, and that's in his philanthropy. Rashford's 1920 season was kinda weird. He got a big honor, MBE, for fighting to stop kids from going hungry, which is awesome, but his performance on the pitch wasn't the same. This led to many fans asking if he cared more about helping people than, well, playing the beautiful game that pays for everything. Even the papers were on him, wondering if good deeds were distracting him from being the beast he was supposed to be on the pitch. By the end of the next trophyless season, with Rashford totaling 21 goals in all competitions, for the fans, it became a question of, are we just bankrolling this guy's actual work, and he's playing for us as a hobby? And is he ever going to become the star we hoped? This is a fair question to ask, really, because rather than win trophies, Rashford has instead caused United to waste a lot of money. And that's not even discussing his ridiculously high wages. The situation is like this. Manchester United desperately needs a reliable goal scorer to convert chances, especially since they signed Bruno, who has the most chances created in the league, and Rashford undeniably has the talent, but his inconsistency and off-field issues have hampered the team's progress. They've spent a lot of money trying to get players that just click with him. Pogba and Mata seemed to work until they didn't anymore. P.S. Pogba's story is for another video. Drop a comment if you'd like to see the video. Remember how much Pogba was signed? Even Dan James came and went without impact. And then the club spent a ridiculous amount on Anthony, who has been a terrible signing all round. Seeing as Rashford wasn't converting Bruno's chances, they've been forced to get another striker to complement Garnacho's efforts. In this transfer window, they have, yet again, a CF and at least one winger on their list. As these players come and go, Rashford has, for some reason, been unable to create any meaningful attacking partnerships, either as a goal scorer, playmaker, or as a key part of build-up. What's next when a player has failed to reach his potential at a club? Obviously an exit, and Rashford is considering a big move. In the EPL, he has been linked with Arsenal, who needs a player like Rashford who thrives in fast-paced, counter-attacking systems. This would align perfectly with the free-flowing football of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but we all know how that system turned out. At Arsenal, Rashford could fill a void left by Gabriel Martinelli's form drop. At least, that was what everyone was saying. But Arteta needs a consistent goal scorer, not a player who would perform only if his girlfriend was happy with him. So the next option is a club where he could play bad football without consequence. PSG, therefore, becomes a more realistic option, especially now that Mbappe has gone to Madrid. Beyond just the fewer expectations, manager Luis Enrique's direct style aligns better with Rashford's strengths compared to Arsenal's more possession-based approach under Arteta, who plays like Pep. Remember, direct football is Manchester United's traditional style. Direct football with quick counter-attacking transitions. So, on paper, a switch to Paris could maybe be the spark Rashford needs to rediscover his best form. But leaving United also means the end of his dream of becoming the next Ryan Giggs, a club legend who remained at Old Trafford throughout his whole career. If he leaves now, he has done nothing that's important enough to give him a club hero status. He would be leaving as just another kid who couldn't make it at Old Trafford. And boy, is there a list of them. Jesse Lingard, Adnan Januzaj, who was never given a chance, Depay, Sanchez, Herrera, Fred, Dan James, and most recently, Jadon Sancho, whom the club has publicly announced they must sell this summer. So what's one more player on the pile? Especially one that the club has done everything they can for. And if you want a bigger proof that Rashford is done out here, look at the Euros. Since his senior debut, Rashford has never been in doubt for England's team. But this year, he has been replaced by a striker everyone knows is inferior to him, Anthony Gordon. Even Maino, who just made his club debut, made the team. Speaking of Euros, the goals have been pouring in, and there have been a lot of dramatic moments, especially with the 5 new rules that were just introduced. Oh, you didn't know there were new rules? Well, check this video next to learn about all of them. And for more football updates just like these, click the subscribe button and turn on notifications.